We absolutely have video of this for Mom. Oh no. She resides out here in Building 18. When Trippie Redd threatened the 6ix9ine's family, it all began. Now that he has been connected to the horrifying death of 6ix9ine's girlfriend, he faces the prospect of a life sentence. The evidence that locked him, however, was much more implausible than anyone could have ever guessed. Let's dissect it. A rivalry that turned fraternity into outright animosity. According to rumors, Trippie Redd faces a lengthy prison sentence for the murder of his 6ix9ine's girlfriend. For those who follow the narrative, that is less startling, but to outsiders, it sounds crazy. These two have been involved in one of the most repulsive feuds in hip-hop history. Back in 2017, at the height of the SoundCloud rap explosion, 6ix9ine and Trippie Redd were ascending out of the underground and vying for their place. This is how their path from first-day partners to wishing each other dead began. They both joined the same label family under 10K Projects and were part of the historic 2017 XXL freshman class, an arrangement that ought to have been the ideal formula for power. It genuinely appeared to be working at first. They collaborated in the studio to create songs like OE and Pole's 1469. Songs that showcased their distinct styles and assured fans they were going to be the next big thing in rap. For a little moment, it appeared as though they would succeed together, supporting one another as they navigated the bitter waters of the business. But they already had a rocky friendship. When unsettling information on the 6ix9ine Ion Pass revealed in August 2017, the first noticeable fissure appeared. When he reportedly entered a guilty plea in 2015 in a case involving a juvenile, the hip-hop community exploded. Trippie, who had up until that point been faithful to him, believed he couldn't be associated with such a scandal. He made his stance crystal clear on Twitter, writing, "I'm sorry, bro, 1400, don't promote files. It was an accident." He was referencing his label's stance of steering clear from that type of mess. That single public post became the spark for what would spiral into one of rap's most hostile and personal battles. Neither man was willing to move on, and their feud escalated at lightning speed, leading to its first brutal clash on November 11, 2017. That day, Trippie Redd was ambushed at a New York hotel, leaving him with a bruised chin. But this wasn't some random street fight. It was orchestrated with military-like precision. What made the incident even crazier was what came out years later during 6ix9ine's 2019 federal racketeering trial against the Nine Trade Gangster Bloods. He admitted under oath something that stunned even those who thought they knew the depths of this beef. He confessed that he personally ordered a hit on Trippie Redd, driven by nothing more than jealousy, spite, and a bruised ego. Trippie's reaction was explosive and unfiltered. Fresh from the beating, he jumped on Instagram Live, his face still showing the damage, and unleashed raw anger, holding absolutely nothing back. "Had been waiting for me at my hotel. Some nitrates right in my mouth. Got hit in Mymouth and then Ibiza, but Trippie wasn't about to stop at just telling a side. He went all the way savage, tearing into 6ix9ine's entire persona and questioning his credibility. So it's like, if y'all really think about that, bro, really go tell that, like, pull up right now, like, right now, like, and the disrespect didn't end there." Trippie delivered some of the harshest personal shots you'll ever hear in a hip-hop feud. "They don't know this. My battle, 6ix9ine done. The 6ix9ine cannot come to LA. 69 stands for position because he sucks." These weren't just heated words from someone caught slipping. This was a full-on declaration of war between two artists who had torched their friendship completely and were now willing to take things as far as necessary based on 6ix9ine's later courtroom testimony. His reasons for ordering the attack were rooted in pure pettiness. Jealous that Trippie landed a deal first, angry about online arguments, and bitter over their opposing gang ties. This wasn't some impulsive move. It was deliberate retaliation carried out by gang members under 6ix9ine's orders. The way it unfolded felt straight out of a movie. 6ix9ine's crew, including Anthony Harvellison, tailed Trippie from a video shoot back to his hotel and ambushed him. What complicates things even more is that Trippie had allegedly invited 6ix9ine to the shoot under the guise of settling their beef, but insiders claimed he had 15 men ready for his own ambush. Instead, 6ix9ine's team struck first, flipping the entire script and igniting their feud into even more dangerous territory. Through 2018, the conflict only got nastier, with both rappers turning social media into their battlegrounds to wreck each other's reputations. By May 2018, Trippie was openly on the offensive, threatening to beat down 6ix9ine and even hopping on Chief Keef's diss track I Kill People, which was aimed directly at him. At this stage, it wasn't rap beef anymore. It was an all-out war being fought across multiple fronts, so intense that even other rappers worried about how far it could spiral. But the hardest blow for Trippie came when his own ex became part of 6ix9ine's arsenal. His former girlfriend, Alec Dollar, switched allegiance, appearing INA video supporting the 6ix9ine Ion Treeway crew. This betrayal was a dagger, one that 6ix9ine used to cause maximum emotional damage. The hurt was clear when fans started pressing Alec Dollar on why she would betray Trippie after everything he'd done to boost her career. You said what? You said, why? I just want to know why. Why? Like, why? When people demanded answers about how she could turn on Trippie like that, her response only highlighted just how twisted this rivalry had become. Bocho, yo, now Trippie held you down for a bit, though. Not like, yo, Trippie gave you mad clout. Like, why would you do that? No, I held myself down. He gave you a lot of clout, though. You don't care about that? We gave each other clout. For Trippie, this betrayal cut deeper than losing a girlfriend. It was about someone who had shared his personal and professional life, now actively humiliating him on the biggest stage possible. This psychological warfare became just as destructive as physical battles. Things escalated once again in November 2018 when shots were fired at Trippie Redd by 6ix9ine's ex-manager Shotty, a member of the 9 Trey Gangster Bloods. Once bullets start flying, you know the feud has reached a deadly level. The beef had escalated to the point where it seemed inevitable that someone might not make it out alive. Everything shifted again when 6ix9ine's federal case surfaced. His 2019 decision to cooperate with the feds against the 9 Trey Gangster Bloods got him a lighter sentence but also branded him a snitch across the hip-hop world. Trippie was one of the loudest voices mocking him for it. But the fallout went far beyond just clowning. 6ix9ine's testimony created new enemies, and everyone close became a target for possible payback. On the stand, 6ix9ine gave detailed breakdowns of his feud with Trippie, openly admitting that he ordered the hotel ambush and explaining how their rivalry escalated into genuine criminal activity. This wasn't just another rapper hyping himself up. It was sworn testimony in federal court officially documenting that their beef had ties to real crimes and organized violence. Their mutual hate was on full display whenever they went head-to-head online. One infamous Instagram Live showdown left no doubt about the level of venom between them. My dad, who are you talking about? What's up, black dude? Who are you talking about, bro? You mean what I'm talking about? What amies are you talking about? I'm in Brooklyn. Me, I'm in Brooklyn. Stay in Brooklyn. I'm staying. Those exchanges proved their feud was no longer a professional dispute. It was personal, with families dragged into the crossfire. The level of disrespect and hostility showed it could spill into physical violence at any second. Over time, the beef has kept simmering, flaring up every now and then. Even though both rappers managed to carve out successful careers, the bad blood has never gone away. Trippie's ongoing legal drama and scandals have only piled more fuel onto an already raging fire. What ties this beef to the speculation around Uriella's murder is the pattern of escalation. From the start, this was never just about distractions or online insults. We're talking about beatdowns, bullets, and federal charges. Add in the fact that 6ix9ine's cooperation with law enforcement created new enemies and fresh motives for revenge, and the whole situation became even more explosive. So when investigators started searching for answers in a targeted hit that shattered 6ix9ine's inner circle, the violent history between him and Trippie Redd gave the streets plenty of reason to suspect a link. It was a textbook case of what happens when keeping it real turns fatally wrong. With the foundation of this toxic feud laid out, it's easy to see why the hip-hop world erupted in rumors when a killing so cold and so precise shook everyone from the block to the boardrooms. The victim at the Harv was Uriella Maya Polano, better known in the streets as Uriella Langasta. That nickname wasn't just some random handle. She earned a lobster because her energy was pure fire in the nightlife circuit. At 33, this Dominican powerhouse had built her life from scratch, climbing her way to over 566,000 Instagram followers, where she showcased a glamorous lifestyle that had half of New York chasing after her. But Ariella wasn't just another IG model banking on looks. She was a true hustler, grinding in NYC's brutal nightlife scene. She held it down as a hostess and team member at Icon New York, also known as Opus Lounge in Inwood, Manhattan. Only the city's true high rollers pulled up to throw money around. And that's exactly where Ariella made her mark. The people closest to her weren't just giving empty praise for the cameras either. They meant it when they called her a shining star, a rare soul, an angel who lit up every room she entered. She wasn't some average woman struggling with bills or begging for bottle service handouts. Ariella had her own situation locked down. She was a mother of 2 daughters, and she had the money to fully support the life she portrayed. She owned a large home in the quiet suburbs north of New York while also maintaining an apartment near 42 Broad Street in Mount Vernon. That's 2 properties, one for family peace and another close to the action. That's serious boss-level thinking. But what really pulled Arielle into the center of this investigation was her strong ties to one of rap's most polarizing and dangerous figures, Daniel Hernandez, better known as Tekashi 69. The streets had been buzzing with rumors about what they truly had. Depending on who you asked, some said she was his longtime confidant. Others claimed she was his girlfriend, ex, or even just a side connection. What's undeniable is that their bond went way beyond casual. The clearest proof came in 2023 when Ariella took the lead female role in 6ix9ine's music video, Why. She wasn't just another face in the background. She was spotlighted front and center getting star treatment for someone like 6ix9ine, where every move is scrutinized. Putting her in that position was basically announcing she meant something important to him. When news reached 6ix9ine that Euro was gone, his response was raw and emotional, showing how deep their connection ran. On Instagram stories, which the whole internet followed, he poured his heart out, calling her the Queen of New York, a tremendous woman and my sister. But the truly intimate side came out in the details. He posted in Spanish, writing, Yo, ama, I love you and me, negra slang for my girl or my love. The biggest tell, he added a snippet of what he said was their song, Aventura's Obsession. Anyone familiar with Latino culture knows that track isn't picked casually. It's one of those deep romantic paca classics. You don't dedicate it unless the bond is serious. That wasn't friendship music. That was soul-tied ride or die energy. Now, let's get into the tragedy. On that fail Sunday morning, Uriella was driving her black Mercedes-Benz G-Class G-Wagon, a ride worth more than most people's 2-year salary. She had already flaunted the same vehicle on her socials back in March 2025, showing off her wins and silencing doubters. She was alone, heading east on the Cross-County Parkway near the Broad Street exit in Mount Vernon, Westchester County, just above the Bronx. What happened next was straight nightmare material. Ariella was discovered dead inside her G-Wagon, parked on the highway shoulder. At first, when reports surfaced, people assumed it was natural. Maybe a heart attack, maybe exhaustion, or falling asleep at the wheel. The kind of tragedy that sometimes happens when you're pushing yourself non-stop. But when the Westchester County Medical Examiner's Office released their autopsy findings, the truth turned out far darker and way more sinister than anyone could have guessed. Ariella had been struck multiple times by gunfire, and this wasn't any random drive-by or robbery gone sideways. Police made it absolutely clear this was a targeted attack. In street terms, someone specifically wanted this woman dead, and they made sure the job was finished. That chilling label sent shockwaves through everyone who knew Ariella, and the hip-hop community instantly started asking the tough questions. Who had a motive to take her out and why? In a culture where beefs can stew for years and grudges last longer than friendships, the fact that this was clearly a planned hit made people turn their attention to the long list of enemies orbiting around 6ix9ine. The Westchester County Police Department's General Investigations Unit immediately took control of the case. Knowing from day one this wasn't going to be some simple open-and-shut homicide, they secured the crime scene, gathered evidence, and began the long process of figuring out not only who pulled the trigger, but who gave the order and why Ariella was chosen as a target. When news spread across social media and hip-hop blogs, the reaction was instant and deeply emotional. The nightlife scene where Ariella had built her name was devastated. Icon New York even shut down operations temporarily in her honor, putting up a memorial outside the club where friends, co-workers, and admirers gathered to pay respects. And this wasn't some hollow PR stunt either. When her colleagues said NYC Nightlife has lost an angel, it came straight from people who had partied with her, worked with her, and witnessed firsthand how she lit up every room she touched. That's the kind of heartfelt tribute you only get when you're genuinely loved. But while the hip-hop world was grieving, a darker angle crept into the discussion. People started questioning if his assassination had ties to 6ix9ine's messy history, especially his infamous cooperation with the feds and the countless enemies he'd made over the years. The timing was suspicious as hell. Here was a woman who was clearly significant to 6ix9ine, featured prominently in his videos, and undeniably part of Inner Circle, suddenly murdered in what authorities were calling a deliberate hit. With the violent history between 6ix9ine and Trippie Redd, the fact that shots had already been exchanged in their feud, and the personal depth of their hatred, it didn't take long for the streets to start connecting dots. Black, who are you talking about, bro? You mean what I'm talking about? That's where the official investigation met the whispers of the streets. As detectives continued digging into the murder of Ariella Polano, the rumor mill exploded with wild theories and speculation threatening to turn a serious case into a viral circus. The General Investigations Unit, with support from local, state, and federal agencies, has a methodical but tight-lipped refusing to feed the frenzy. As of August 27, 2025, the case remains open, but officials have kept their findings under wraps, only releasing details when it benefits the investigation. What they confirmed is chilling. Everything points to this being a calculated execution, not random violence. Based on the evidence and circumstances, police are convinced Ariella's killers knew exactly who she was and made a conscious decision to take her life. This wasn't some wrong place, wrong time. Tragedy. The investigation has been wide-ranging, pulling surveillance footage in the area, conducting forensic tests on evidence found inside Ariella's vehicle, and digging deep into her personal life and recent moves. Detectives have been mapping out her activity in the days and weeks before the murder, her relationships, her online presence, and anyone who might have had an issue with her. The goal is to build a full picture of her world to answer the ultimate question: who wanted her gone, and why? But as of late August 2025, no suspect has been arrested or even named publicly. Authorities haven't shared any motives, leads, or persons of interest. This silence has created a vacuum, one quickly filled with wild speculation, endless rumors, and theories ranging from reasonable to downright outrageous. One of the most talked-about theories links Ariela's death to 6ix9ine's infamous 2019 testimony against the 9 Gangster Bloods, the move that got him an early release but cemented his snitch reputation. The street-level idea is that someone from his old gang life wanted revenge. And since hitting 6ix9ine directly is too risky, they may have gone after people close to him, like Ariella. Still, when you look at the facts, the connection isn't so clear. The feud between 6ix9ine and Trippie Redd peaked back between 2017 and 2019. In recent years, it has cooled down to occasional online digs instead of active violence. On top of that, Trippie has shifted focus toward music and his personal life, staying away from the type of serious street warfare that ends in targeted killings. For him to be tied to Ariella's death, it would mean a huge escalation from old drama, something there's no evidence of, no new threats, no recent clashes, nothing. Investigators, meanwhile, are also considering other possibilities. Some theories still circle back to 6ix9ine's federal cooperation in 2019, which undeniably left him with bitter enemies in gang networks who might want revenge on those close to him. Others speculate Ariella's role in New York's nightlife might have exposed her to dangerous people or shady situations totally unrelated to 6ix9ine. What police have emphasized again and again is the targeted nature of the crime. Whoever did this knew exactly who Ariella was and made a deliberate choice to eliminate her. That suggests motives could range from personal conflicts, romantic drama, business disputes, or even a mistaken identity. But without further evidence, it's impossible to pin down. What's crucial to note is that Trippie Redd's current lifestyle doesn't line up with someone plotting contract-style hits. His legal run-ins lately have been minor. Traffic citations, small-time charges, and nothing hinting at organized violence. His July 2025 arrest at Miami International Airport was over a bench warrant for driving without a license. Hardly the mark of someone orchestrating calculated assassinations. His public appearances and social media posts also back this up. These days, Trippie mostly talks about his music, relationships, and day-to-day drama. Even in interviews like his spot-on No Jumper, he's focused on personal matters, not rehashing old gang beefs or threatening enemies. Expect me to be good to people that weren't good to me, man. That I am a single young black man. I can have fun and express myself however I want to. The investigation remains centered on hard evidence and facts that can actually hold up in court. The District Attorney Susan Kakashi's office is already working on preparing for a possible prosecution, which signals that investigators believe they'll eventually have a solid case to bring forward. This shows that law enforcement is sticking to a careful, methodical strategy rather than letting online chatter or pressure for quick arrests steer them towards shaky conclusions. Because the case is still ongoing, new developments could surface at any moment. Discoveries that might completely reshape the direction of the investigation. Surveillance footage in the area, forensic results pulled from Arella's G-Wagon, her phone records, and fresh witness testimonies could all hold key pieces of the puzzle. The silence from officials doesn't mean progress isn't happening. It usually means they're protecting the integrity of the case, avoiding leaks that could damage their ability to catch and prosecute whoever is responsible. For 6ix9ine, this isn't just another headline. It's a crushing personal loss. On top of his grief, there's a shadow of guilt knowing that Ariella's murder may have been tied in some way to his own controversial past decisions and the enemies he made along the way. His emotional online tributes painted the picture of someone not only mourning, but also questioning whether his connection to her put her directly in harm's path. The tragedy of Uriel Amaya Polano's death is a harsh reality check about the fallout of hip-hop conflicts and controversies. While fans and outsiders might consume the drama like entertainment, what often gets overlooked is a human cost, the lives shattered and families devastated by the violence behind the music. Thank you for watching. If you found this breakdown powerful, click one of the boxes on your screen to dive into more stories just like this.